If there's one thing we're sure of, it's that people refuse to learn from history or the present. It seems that there's no love left to lose between China and Taiwan. China's coming for them, but Taiwan's dipping into this concerning event with diplomacy and caution. Troubling conversations of an impending war between the two have struck worry among allies. Let's break it down. The shocking Honduras split. Taiwan's latest setback has come in the form of lost friends. It looks like the diplomatic drama just keeps on coming. Honduras has decided to cut ties with Taiwan and cozy up to China instead, causing quite a stir. Taiwan's not happy about it, accusing China of using strong-arm tactics to win over its allies. But the government of Honduras says there's only one China in the world and that the People's Republic of China is the only legitimate government representing all of China. Ouch, that's got a sting for Taiwan. It's not like Honduras stuck out of the room in the middle of the night though. They let Taiwan know that they were breaking up and that they were not interested in maintaining any kind of relationship going forward. Talk about a clean breakup. Only 13 independent states still recognize Taiwan as a legitimate country, which is pretty rough for them. The conflict between China and Taiwan goes way back, ever since the two sides split after a civil war in 1949. Beijing has been throwing money at countries left and right to get them to recognize its one China policy. It was only a matter of time before Honduras followed suit, especially after their foreign minister visited China earlier this year. President Xiomara Castro wasted no time in announcing that they were establishing diplomatic ties with Beijing. It seems that Honduras negotiated a handsome fee with China to help build a hydroelectric dam. And of course, China didn't waste any time in reciprocating and won this round. But Taiwan's president, Tsai Ing-wen, is not taking this lying down. She's calling this move an act of intimidation and coercion by China, and claims that China is threatening regional peace and stability by limiting Taiwan's international space. Taiwan's not going down without a fight though. They're closing their embassy in Honduras and removing their ambassador. And they're still making friends with other countries despite China's efforts. US's leaked memo supports claims. Another sly ally has been treading with caution. The United States is just as worried about these extreme claims of war. Time to bring a recent leak to your attention. A memo from US General Mike Minahan recently leaked, and it's made everyone raise a quizzical brow. He predicted that the US would have to intervene in a war between China and Taiwan by 2026. Now, before we get too worked up about this, it's important to remember that this is just a prediction based on assumptions. We can't rely on it as a reliable forecast. That being said, it's clear that tensions between China and Taiwan are growing, and some people are worried that the US's claims of a looming war are making people desensitize themselves to the real dangers of war. China's leader Xi Jinping has made it clear that he wants to reunite Taiwan with China, even if it means using force. This has put the US on edge, especially given China's growing military power and global ties. Taiwan officials are also worried about the possibility of an invasion from China, with some predicting it could happen in the next few years. And this isn't the first time a US general has raised concerns about the situation. Admiral Philip Davidson predicted that China would pose a threat to Taiwan by 2027, and he recently reiterated those concerns by suggesting that China could launch smaller attacks on islands near Taiwan. So while we can't say for sure what the future holds, it's clear that the situation between China and Taiwan is one that we need to keep a close eye on. We'll continue to monitor the situation and keep you updated as things develop. Pelosi's sympathies towards Taiwan. It looks like Nancy Pelosi is causing quite a stir in the political arena. Last year, her tour of Asia was the talk of the town. The US House Speaker visited Taiwan too and expressed her support for the country's democracy, while also criticizing China for trying to silence Taiwan's voice on the world stage. In a statement released after her trip, Pelosi made it clear that she thinks world leaders should be able to travel to Taiwan and pay their respects, regardless of China's objections. She even took a dig at China for preventing Taiwan from participating in global meetings, like the World Health Organization. But of course, China wasn't too pleased with Pelosi's visit. They've already announced military exercises in waters around Taiwan and are promising consequences. At a press conference, Pelosi was asked about Chinese President Xi Jinping's strong response to her visit, and let's just say she wasn't exactly singing his praises. She questioned his motivations and reminded everyone that Taiwan deserves a seat at the table. All in all, tensions between China and Taiwan aren't going away anytime soon. But hey, at least Pelosi's visit brought some attention to the issue and reminded us all of the importance of democracy and free speech. Telltale signs if China plans to act. The Ukraine and Russia war has upset everyone. It's also a stark reminder of what catastrophe can ensue if peace isn't achieved. China might be planning for war, and if they are, we would be able to tell based on certain signs. So, have you ever wondered what China would do if they decided to invade Taiwan? It's a big challenge that could take years and lead to sanctions and blockades from other countries. Plus, China would need to shift its focus from economic growth to nationalism to maintain the support of its people. Talk about a tough balancing act. To start, China might use military force to pressure Taiwan into uniting with them politically. They've been trying to do this for a while by working together economically and increasing travel between the two places. But let's be real, it's not easy to convince a whole country to give up its independence. If military force doesn't work, China might decide to blockade Taiwan's ports or limit its trade. It might not force Taiwan to give in, but it could make things harder for them. After all, China has always had a military component to its plan to unify with Taiwan. The US might think that China will either use force or not, but there are other ways China could try to pressure Taiwan. The situation between China and Taiwan is changing, especially with China's growing power and Taiwan's democratic leadership. One sign of a potential war would be China's investment in military growth. They'd start making a lot more weapons and trying to protect their economy from being hurt by sanctions. Meanwhile, people in China would be preparing for the costs of war, Taiwan's efforts for peace. One thing's admirable is that despite escalating tensions, Taiwan hasn't flinched. Instead, they're doing what they can to arrive at reasonable negotiations. Did you hear that the former leader of Taiwan, Ma Ying-jeou, made a bold move by visiting China for a 12-day tour? It's the first time a leader from Taiwan has visited China since 1949. Ma tried to smooth things over by saying that people in Taiwan and China are both Chinese and have the same ancestors. But let's be real, it's no secret that tensions between the two countries have been high, especially with Honduras's decision to leave, which has caused mass outrage among Taiwanese officials. Nonetheless, Ma made a stop at a mausoleum to pay his respects to Sun Yat-sen, the founder of the Republic of China and the Nationalist Party. Ma even gave a short but rousing speech. Let's hope it's enough to turn things around. Although it's worth noting that most Taiwanese people no longer see themselves as Chinese. Despite that, Taiwan's official name is still the Republic of China, and its founder, Sun Yat-sen, is recognized as the father of the country. Sun is even praised by the Communist Party in China, but unfortunately, the governments in Beijing and Taipei don't recognize each other. Ma's visit is part of an effort by Taiwan's opposition party, the Kuomintang, to improve relations with China. Let's cross our fingers that this is a step in the right direction. But this wasn't the first attempt made to establish peace. Taiwan's president, Tsai Ing-wen, has offered talks with China, but China sees her as a separatist and has rejected her offer. Now we wait and watch as things unfold. War is not a topic to be taken lightly, and we hope both parties agree soon. For more news on the latest global issues, follow and like our channel.